5 regions of eastern Ethiopia agreed to integrate economically. Scholars applauded Oromo's irrepressible role in building Ethiopia. Hello, welcome to Oromia Broadcasting Network English News Time. I'm Ulkawandam with the news. Stay with us. The Federal Attorney General revealed that police have detained a number of individuals on suspicion of corruption allegation and for planning to carry out terror attacks. It was revealed that a total of 59 suspects were arrested from 3 public institutions on allegation of corruption. Olma by another story.
The Federal Attorney General has briefed the media concerning the overall situations in the country and the government reactions. Attorney General of Federal Government Brahanus Agai during briefing media said that the government has been drafting different proclamations that protected human and democratic rights of the citizens of the country. We have been working to approve most of the proclamations that are under drafting process. The proclamations have many advantages for citizens of the country when they are implemented. For instance, they have significant role in widening political space in the country. Again, noted that there are also proclamations that are designed with special considerations. There are 2 proclamations prepared in a special way. These are proclamations for illegal weapon trafficking and hate speech and fake news. These 2 major proclamations were drafted after problems were identified. For instance, there is high tendency of illegal weapons trafficking in the country. Starting from May 2018 till now, there is huge number of illegal weapon trafficking. This is already identified through various investigations. The other one is proclamations that was drafted to avoid hate speech and fake news. This is mainly to prevent people of the country from unwanted conflicts. He underscored that the proclamations do not hinder freedom of speech and expression that are given to the citizens by Constitution. The guy also stated that the government has been identifying various criminal deeds and corruptions carried out in the country. He also stated that 4 major institutions were already identified and 59 individuals, including leaders of the institutions, were detained. According to him, the identified institutions are Ethiopian Public Procurement and Property Administration Agency, Ethiopian Water Workers Corporation, Public Procurement and Property Disposal Service, and Ethiopian Trade Corporation. Following the investigation conducted within the Public Procurement and Property Disposal Service, about $23.7 million of public funds has been wasted during the procurement of 400 metric tons of wheat. Similarly, the officials at the Water Workers Construction Corporation were detained on suspicion of wasting 55 million birr of public funds during the procurement of reinforcing bar, the Attorney General stated. According to Attorney General, individuals and groups intending to carry out terror attack in Ethiopia have been traced and being detained. He said security agencies of the country have tangible evidence that the suspected individuals and groups are direct linked with global terror groups, and hence the investigation process will take time as it needs working with other countries.
President of the Oromia Regional State, Lamma Magarsa, said efforts are underway to fully ensure peace and stability of eastern part of Ethiopia and integrate the region economically. A joint forum of 5 regions of eastern Ethiopia has been organized in Diriyadawa city. Again, Olma by Nasmondats.
Eastern Ethiopian regions, Oromia, Somali, Afar, and Harari, as well as Diriyadawa town administration have held a peace conference in Diriyadawa town. On the conference, various regional and federal higher government officials, including President of the Oromia Regional State Lamma Magarsa and Minister of Peace Mufariat Kamil, were participated. President of the Oromia Regional State Lamma Magarsa talked to OBN in an exclusive interview after the discussion. He said that areas that are feared in terms of peace and security are already identified.
Peace and security issues of eastern part of the country should be ensured. We have already identified issues that may obstacle our peace and security. This region needs special attention as a country in terms of sustaining its peace and security. It is through this gate that terrorists may get chance to enter the country.
The president noted that strengthening relations of the regions in the area was also part of the discussion. President Lama further noted that the relation of Oromia and the Somali regional states will be further solidified, adding that works are being done in both sides.
Naannoon Somaalee waa baay'eedhaaf nu barbaachisaadha.
Somali regional state is very essential for us. For instance, most of our market is located in Somali, especially that of Chad. This chain is not limited to local borders. Rather, it moves up to adjacent neighboring countries. Therefore, we have to elevate our relation into strategic partnership. We have to also reach up on agreement to vitalize this.
Minister of Peace Mufariat Kamil for her part said that the conference was aimed to strengthen relations of the regions so as to realize supremacy of the constitution in the country.
የበለጠ በክልሎቹ መካከል ያለውን የጎንዮሽ
Most of all, regions' horizontal relations should be strengthened. This has great role to sustain achievements gained so far. Lawlessness shouldn't be existed in a country ruled by constitution, she said. Vice President of the Somali Regional State Mustafa Mohammed also said that the conference has significant role in strengthening and sustaining the relation of Oromia and the Somali regional states.
ያለው መንፈስ በጣም ጥሩ ነው። የህዝብ ለህዝብ ስራው በዞንና በወረዳ ደረጃ
The spirit among the people of these two regions have been improving from time to time. So this should be sustained through mobilizing the whole people of the country.
State Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Harry Zamani, received the South Sudan's delegation led by Mr. Gabriel Changson, chair of the National Pre-Transitional Committee. On the occasion, she reiterated Ethiopia's support to the successful implementation of South Sudan's revitalized peace agreement. Mr. Gabriel Changson also briefed the Ethiopian State Minister on the various activities made towards establishing a transitional government in South Sudan. He said, although there are encouraging results, the process is facing challenges including lack of required finance, the fact that there are still parties who have not yet signed the agreement, as well as concerns with regard to finalizing work before the deadline, while underlining that Ethiopia would continue to support the transitional process both bilaterally and through the IGAD framework. Mr. Hewd assured that the South Sudan's delegation of her country's commitment to facilitate the support of the international community. The Ministry of Agriculture announced that is working to implement effective use of arable land. Batu Fish Research Center, currently working with farmers of Ada and the Lume districts, were visited by concerned stakeholders. Mukhtar Jasmine on that.
According to Minister of Agriculture, Ethiopia has a potential of human and ground and reverse water resources to boost agricultural development in the country. But the farmland usage policy of the country is unable to solve the problems related with modernizing agriculture of Ethiopia. Umar Hussein, Minister of Agriculture, said his ministry has been working to solve problems that have been headlock agricultural development of the country.
Biyukun policy lafa baftet policy fayyadama lafa odon basin jirti agamma jecha.
Though the country has agricultural policy, it was not proper one still. Now the study has been finalizing regarding agricultural development and farmland usage in the country, working with different stakeholders. The expected policy will identify loam farmland from other, and it will protect the very important farmland. Regarding farmland usage, a delegation from Minister of Agriculture has visited a plot of farmers in Bad district of East Shore Zone on how fishery center of the area is striving as model for the farmers in the vicinity. Dr. Lema Barra, manager of Batu Fishery Center, said they have been working to support farmers to make them beneficiaries from a small plot of farm in the area. The number of population is getting high while a farming land is being narrowing in the locality. So we support the farmers to produce high on a small plot of land using technology supposed to increase their production. Farmers of the locality have witnessed that they have been benefiting a lot from such a farm supported by professionals. Avocado farm of Lume district in the zone was also been visited by the delegation. Farmers who have been producing avocado said they have been getting better income from it.
Scholars said Oromo's irreplaceable role in building Ethiopia as a country has been always belittled and intentionally downplayed by several ruling groups and historians of this nation. The scholars stress that the survival of Ethiopia has been dependent on the existence of the Oromo people. Let us read us more on that.
Kush people are among the people who live in the African continent for a long time. According to American journalist and historian Dorosila Donge, the Kushitic civilization is a base for humankind civilization. The Kush people had contributed lots to the world community, including science and technological innovations. Oromo is one of the largest Kushitic families. Lawrence Agai Gabramadin in his poet had described the contribution of Oromo people to East African civilization, though that true history is hidden deliberately.
Yate hora yekush inodo abba boku akkamido banati ፀሐይ ከለቻ የምትጠልቅ አንተ ብቻ.
Scholars argue that Oromo people have played immense role in building Ethiopia, breaking their bonds and shedding their bloods, but this reality was hidden by fabricated history.
The main goal of this false narrative is to create illusion about the possession of their country and make the new generation live their own land to others due to the confusion about the history of this country.
The move has negatively affected the psychology of generation. Due to this, the Oromo people were forced to hate Ethiopia that was built by their forefathers. Assistant Professor Fissa Haile is a lecturer at Ambo University. OBN talked to him about this issue.
Ethiopian kan Oromo ta'uusaa.
Adwa battle victory belongs to Oromo people. We should be aware of this. 9 generals who led the army during the Adwa battle were Oromos. From the total of 11 generals led the Ethiopian side. The effort made to describe Oromo as if it came from another country, separating it from other Kushtic families, is to create suspicion about its own country ownership.
Scholars said that British citizen Alandorf had been awarded by Emperor Haile Selassie I for writing in his book denying the contribution of Oromo people in building Ethiopia.
There have been groups who attempt to psychologically affect Oromo people to push it away from the spirit of ownership of this country due to its large number. The country belongs to Oromo people because it built it.
The scholars underscored that there was no stone unturned to take away Ethiopianism from Oromo. However, Oromo never negotiated about its Ethiopianism. They also stressed that Ethiopia will not exist without Oromo people.
If you take its geographic location, it is Oromia and Oromo that bonded Ethiopia together. Without Oromia and Oromo, we cannot celebrate Ethiopia. I think that Ethiopia is nothing without the existence of Oromo. Oromo has contributed strong leaders such as Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed and President of Oromia Lamma Magarsa. The leaders saved Ethiopia from disintegration. I believe that it is wrong if we think that Ethiopia will exist without this. It was Oromo who created Ethiopia. We should develop and strengthen the unity of this country as well as make it democratic country.
Thank you very much for joining us. That's all what we are for this time.
Iya bagati gati luangkat.
Oli oli nu angkat. Adallo lamani achin nu angkat. Samale bari nagya. Bari nagya. Ilmi nagya. Intalti nagya. Kafudu nagya. Eru tu nagya. Ade tu nagya. Ardan ke nagya. Boko goron nagya. Oromo goron nagya. Ethiopia ke nagya. Motumman nagya. Ardan ke nagya. Biyite nagya. Ewa kabiyete na ebisi. Biyete na ebisi. Ardan ke nagesi. Afan wal basis. Oromo tokko god. Tokkummaa nu bulchi. Tokkummaa keenya nu jabeessi. Eewaa qadagaan ulti gadaan roobaa nagaya.
The Oromo people are independent and organized both culturally and politically, using the Gada system to promote their well-being and to maintain their security and sovereignty. But previously, they were used to being governed by undemocratic regimes without any political representation. Currently, the Oromo have the Gada system, which was inscribed in the UNESCO as intangible cultural heritage of humanity. Gada system is an indigenous socio-political democratic system of the Oromo people that regulated political stability, social activity, cultural obligation, moral responsibility, the philosophy and the religious order of their society. It is the traditional system of governance of the Oromo people that has developed from knowledge gained over generations. The Oromo Gada system has been taking a form of confederation federation that has formed to maintain their political and cultural solidarity and to defend their security and interest. While the Gada system were weakened in some parts of the Oromo people, some elements of the Oromo democratic values still exist in areas where the Gada system was suppressed. In its modified form, the system is still highly practiced among the Borana, Guji, Karayu, and the Tulama Oromo clans, helping and maintaining peace, exchanging knowledge of society, and practicing ritual activities, and it's also on the restoration phase among Sikh Commando, Mecha, and other Oromo clans. The Gada system, which has elected leaders within each generation and orderly succession to various positions of political office, has also been dividing power among clans and sub-clans, and gives opportunity to every member of each, except to be trained, share experience, and play significant roles turn by turn. Participation was a symbol of belongingness. The Oromo had common Gada government with a relative freedom for the different major groups. For instance, during the 16th century, there had been two powerful confederacies, the Macha and the Tulama. They had a common Gada government and a common law. The headquarters of the Gada government was at Odanabe, around Dukam town, about 30 kilometers west of Infinity, the capital. Yet, each subclans had freedom to deal independently with its internal affairs. Later, due to certain internal and external pushing factors, such as an increase in both the human and the cattle populations, the Macha established another confederacy. The same history holds true among the Guji Oromo in southern Oromia regional states that are still practicing Gada confederacy. The Guji have been practicing the Gada system in the form of confederation among three major clans, Uraga, Mati, and Hoku. Members of the confederacy are all self-dependent and have full authority. The entire Guji have a common Gada center located at Meeboko. Since the beginning of the Guji Gada, Meeboko has existed as a well-known sacred place. Yet, all three groups have their own independent Gada councils with their respective ritual grounds and their leaders. Each council of the three clans perceives itself as independent but works closely with each other on common purposes that affect the entire Guji. Past their autonomy, the Guji Gada is governed by the same Gada law, which can only be said by the Gumi Boko, often called Meboko, during the power transfer ceremony.
Marro adafiti adoyo bulan. Nam sirbo Oromon Guji wanje nam sirba baka bu sirbo kafi wallala jedha.
When we transfer the Gada power, we bless each other, pray for the coming Abagada, Gada leader, wishing him to have a successful Gada period. By eating together, the cultural food prepared for the Gada power transfer ceremony only. It has the meaning equal is to we are with you and I let you to lead me. In the power transfer ceremony, no one thinks about the disagreement between them. What makes the Gada system and the Abba Gada different from the political leaders in the modern politics is he is not the only person who decides on the fate of the people, and he is not leading only the politics matters, rather he is an individual who comes first on every social and cultural matters of the people.
The Gada has comprised a hierarchy of triple levels of government: the national, the regional, and the local. The national government was led by elected Luba Council, formed from representatives of the major Oromo clans, families, and sub-clans. Under the presidency of Abba Gada and his two deputies, the national leadership was responsible for such important matters as legislation and enforcement of general laws, handling issues of war and peace, and coordinating the nation's defense, management of inter-Oromo clans conflicts, and dealing with non-Oromo people.
We do not know when the Oromo started the Gada system. We know only the Gada merged with the human beings and nature. That's why it had the full and well-structured political, social, and religious governance system. Previously, the Oromo was governed by one Gada, while leadership at all and the Gada leader paired their clans. But that's not many as today. What we are observing today does not seem the Gada system structure. There is no Gada at zonal and district levels.
All Gada officials were elected for 8 years, and the system organized the male Oromos according to exit based on chronological age and according to generational, says Luba. Based on genealogical generation for social, political, and economic purposes, the Gada grade would be entered on the basis of generation, and the boys would enter their Luba 40 years after their fathers. The Gada system has a very logical structure.
Abbaan kalee kaayoo isaatiin abbaa gadaa abbaan isaa abbaa gadaa ta'eeru ilmi dhufee abbaa gadaa ta'e lafa lafatti.
Gada divides the stage of life from childhood to old age into a series of formal steps by learning what's permitted and what's forbidden by its values called Safu. All those are amended on the Gada system, which is called customary law in the modern law that was consisted in the Oromo Gada system. This law is the law that creates habitual relationship between human being and the nature as well as natural environment. The human being have to have good interactions with themselves, with the plant and the wild animals. The Gada briefly puts how human beings live with nature, and now the vice versa of it is harming the natural environment.
The Gada system has principles of check and balance through predict succession of every 8 years, and the division of power among executive, legislative, and the judicial branches, balanced opposition among 5 parties, and the power sharing between higher and the lower administrative organs.
Gada is many things for the Oromo people. It is the grade during which a class of one Gada party takes power of leadership. Gada is the period of 8 years in which the elected Abba Gada takes power from the previous one and start their people, and it is the most important and aspired period for Oromo nationals.
Other principles of the system have included balanced representation of all clans, lineages, confederacies, accountability of the leaders, the settlement of disputes through reconciliation, and the respect for basic rights and liberties. The Oromo, while living on this naturally created environment, gives appropriate respect for all living things and they use most of it for multiple Geda purposes. Due to this, the Oromo conserve natural environment. Geda has its own ceremonial grounds at which Geda-related events are hosted and conserves it. But today, some Geda cultural sites and the ceremonial grounds are being affected by the lack of appropriate conservation work by concerned bodies. It is a huge impact in weakening the Geda system. Ardajilas, Geda ceremonial grounds are the cultural place in which the Geda law is amended. The Geda law is not only about human being, rather it is all about nature.
Arda naga nage, liban naga nage, liban gola didi naga nage, tula sala naga nage, laju shani naga nage, yawal gabi naga nage, so duboke naga nage, dublik dure naga nage, muyal golba didi naga nage, are goro naga nage, goron oromo chena naga nage, gada naga nage, gada mojin karoba naga yat, amega mijule fudanne garmudat yana. Jalo wanjila herene Moti jilti bati batu Jalo abrasa godante Moti abrasa kadoma Gada muda Nara teaching oh jilo jila Nara teaching oh jilo roba Nara teaching
Bakkee jirtan hundumattiyyuu nageenya isiniif hawwina kabajamtoota daawwattoota keenyaa qophii dhiyaana galgalaa daawwachuudhaaf qophooftanii waan jirtaniif immoo dursinee ulfaadhaa isiniin jenna.
Kun dhiyaana galgalaa Oromiyaa Broadcasting Network irraati. Simbiraan ga'u kan sanbata galgalaa yeroo kanarraati kaasee hanga xumuraatti isin wajjin turuu amma eegalleeti kan jiru kallattiidhaan bakka jirtan karaa garagaraatiin hordofuu danda'u marsariitii irratti feesbuukiidhaan kallattiidhaan hordofuu danda'u asi stuudiyoo muummichaarraa immoo tamsaasni keenya dhiyaana galgalaa qabiyyee guutuusaa simbiraan ga'aa turtii taasisa.
Maal faa qabattan warreen jettaniif mala ammayyaatiin balfii haallitiin dhabamsiifamuu uumameeti jira. Waan kanarratti gara boodaa waan isinitti himnu qabna. OBN hordofaas ni jira.
Duula qulqullina naannoo muummichi ministeeraa Dr. Abiy Ahmed guyyaa boruutiif labsan ilaalchisee biyyi guutummaa biyyattii keessatti qophiin xumuramaati kan inni jiru. Kan ilaalchisee biyyoota muuxannoo kana qabanis kaasuudhaan waa'ee duula qulqullummaa guyyaa boruu adeemsifamu kanarrattis odeeffannoo bal'inaan simbiraan keenya qabanneerra.
Rakkoo keenya yoo waliif hirmaannee gaarri nuti hin baane hin jiru jechuudhaan mucaan daa'imni waggaa 12 tokko hiriyaasaa waggaa 6 baatee jira. Maaliif baate? Gara booda odeeffannoo qabna.
Teknooloojii roobootii giddugala gabaa fi akkasumas suupermaarketiiwwan to'achuu danda'u akkamitti to'ata kan jedhus waa'ee teknooloojii kana dhiyaana galgalaa keessatti bal'inaan jabaasni jenna.
Leenjiin konkolaachisummaa kennamaati kan inni jiru. Leenjii konkolaachisummaa kanarraa maaltu argamuu danda'a? Bu'aa akkamiitu argamuu danda'a? Gara boodaa waan isinitti himnu qabna. Dhimbiibbaan oduus akkumatti fufetti yeroo isaa eeggatee ni jira.
Dhimbiibbaa oduuti kan nuti eegallu sana booda waan qabanneef hafeen walitti deebina yeroo gaarii.
Magaalota Itoophiyaa keessaa balfa magaalaa isaaniitii bahu gara kompoostii uumamaatti jijjiiruudhaan qulqullinaaf miidhagina magaalaa eegsisuu irratti ciminaan hojjechaa jiran keessaa magaalaan Bishooftuu ishee tokkodha.
Tola ooluun yookaan tola yaaduun yoo jiraate walitti dhufeenyi hawaasa biyyattii daraan akka cimu taasisa.
Yoo biyyi kun itti fufuudhaaf hin dandeessi ta'e federalizimiin sun akka dhugaatti hojiirra oolu irra jira malee federalizimiin kun bal'achuutu irra jira malee iddootti rakkoon dhalate sana keessatti federalizimiinii fi humni ittiin of bulchuu danda'an bal'achuudha qaba malee irraanfatamuun irra hin jiru.
Mana marii bakka bu'oota uummataa biyyattiif haasaa taasisaniin Ameerikaan akkaataatti nuti tilmaamaa turte dhiiftee hariiroo gaariin wajjin uumuun barbaachisaadha jedhan.
Kunneen bal'inaan gara boodaatti sa'aatii oduutti kan isin biraan gahanidha. Dhiyaanni galgalaa keenya kallattiin isin biraan gahu kunoo haala kana fakkaatuun eegalee jira. Bakka jirtanitti turtii keessan Oromiyaa Broadcasting Network irra taasifadhaa irra deebinee isin jenna. Kanumaan gara odeeffannoo fi qabiyyeewwan dhiyaana galgalaa guutuu qabannee beeksisneeti kan jirru. Gara dhimma keenya itti aanutti dhaquun dura hordoftoonni keenya hedduun isaanii bilbila isaanii baafatanii waan as dhiyaana galgalaa irraatii eegan qabu iteenis.
Eeyyee dorgomaa cimaa dhiyaana galgalaa ta'uudhaaf qophooftanii akka jirtan shakkii tokkoyyuu hin qabnu. Nutis gaaffii dhiyaana galgalaa kunoo isiniin jechuufi Afrikaa keessaa biyyoonni guyyaa duula qulqullinaa biyyaalessaa qaban kan fa'i 8331 yaada keessan nuuf ergaa.
Afrikaa keessaa biyyoonni duula qulqullummaa biyyaalessaa yookaan qulqullina biyyaalessaa qaban biyyoota kan fa'i kan jedhu 8331 ammarraati kaasee dorgommii isin badhaafamuuf taasiftan ni simata. Gara boodaatti qulqulleessuun badhaasa akka qabu hin dagatina. Carraa gaarii jenneerra.
Eeyyee garatti aanutti yoo dabarru immoo uummata kuush yookaas nu hortee bal'aadha kan isaan qabanii achi keessaa hangafni fi inni gaanfa Afrikaa irratti sabni bal'aa ta'e saba Oromooti. Egaa akkuma sabni Oromoo bal'aa ta'e kun immoo aadaadhuma keessattis haammachuudhaan guddifachuudhaan ofitti saboota biroo aadaa ofitti qabu ni qabachuudha uummanni Oromiyaa. Oromiyaa Broadcasting Networks immoo
sagalee uummata hadiyyaa kan ta'e TV hadiyyaa hammatee reechuu barbaaddeeti.
Eeyyee hammatee jira. Sagantaan TV hadiyyaa har'a qophaa'ee qilleensarra oolchuudhaaf kan qindaa'e ni jira.
Kana dura isaan biraan gahee ture har'as itti fufuudhaan sagantaan qophii televizyiinii hadiyyaa kun isin biraan kan ga'u ta'a. Sana booda oduudha kan itti fufu oduu bal'inaa jechuudha. Nuti immoo odeeffannoowwan keenya sila kaasnee gara boodaa irratti deebinee kan wal arginu ta'a. Turtiin keessan ammas dhiyaana galgalaa wajjin haa ta'u.
Television kaba amman maro balik tommo lamsata ihaku finto tambu hinca emiga sanatim horor tambu hinca no hadi television በጠሼርም ዞን ምናደብቅ ኢኮኖሚ መቴዮማ ፖለቲክ ጠነቶ ሌሽን ኤዳ ጊቺክ ሄሽ ቃንቃ ሱሚ አገና ሊሲምን ሽቄን ቢክፍሮን ይኩሰም መትመት hadi ዞን አወንሲ ለቻየኡቢ ወጫማኮ hadi television በጠሼርም liiran sukkos hosaan beeroon hee'amoo matmat minaa dabbaxxanchuu wacamaakku. Kabaafintoota xambuuwwan hingoom xambuu maqir Yohaannis Luujinat. Hadii televezyiin baxasheerim zoon minaadhaphik ekonomii mateeyyooma ፖለቲክ ጠነቶ ሊኢሸን ኤዳ ጊች ኬሽ ቃንቃ ሱሜ አገና ሊኢሲምን ሽቄን ቢክፍሯን ይኮሰም መትመት ሀዲ ዞን አወንሲ ዳቻየው ወጨማኮም ሀዲ ቴሌቪዥን አረቅ አመን ጉዶ ጉላ በጣሼራኩ ከነን ሀራር ፊንቶ ወርቆ ዋበል ከስ እንጫዋኩ
Hadi zon heshqanqii tuurizimii ispoort awwansaanch abbach unatosisai caakisakusan hadi televezyiin baxasherim horiyem liransuaniham hadi gilek heshqanqaa suumee lisansimis biran zona netemiyuk mulhegeguan sidamok tuuristweshok beyu lisansimisan araq awaadoan yak okom
kokodim niinamiyuk niminaadabin ke maal liranch qoca kwane yukis caakisena tasomok heerulan sidamok hadi qaranchi hadi itok tem hadi sum sagar macesena sok isam hadi zonan yok annananan mikmikatu isam hadi zonan yok tourism mika hech qankika bashil yok amattu yobeyo hake aka hadi zonan mayoko hadi gichon hadi minada puron mayoko yakamok yobeyon nem la isansimina isamodim xamba fisimina hundem miideinsem shiqqeen bey masok lobgade ukis caakisena so
abbashisaa edaqatim hadii sagar kanneen lageen woroonni losan gabalin shiqqeen losan gabala febe hadii sagarin wakuu dasakota nimim kabaden televezyiinan awwaaduwim asheerim araq liiran sukkisam caakisakam mulmina dabbuunam habay liiran takko akkama sigsakko okom
kabadem yukar macesamuk liiran chike mal minadabam kabad yum beyon hadii zonanem hadii zoni birenem ኢትዮጵያ ገበለን ኤሰም ሄሩል ገበለን ዮክ ሀዲ ሚናደብና ሀዲ ኢቶክ ሚናደብና ሀዲ ሱም ሰገር መጨሴን ሚጥኩ ዮክ ሚናደብና ሀዲ ዞነን ዮክ ሚክምካት ሞኤን ሚጥኩ ዮክ ሚናደብን ሉሌንም ሀባይ ሊረንተኮ ሀባይ አፊስኮ ከገደይነ መየነሶ
hadi zo ndiaden shokkita min awwansaanch abbach waajjebtaadas iskollen hadi televezyiin baxasherim annan agan yukis caaksakam zoon minadhaphek ikonomiya mateeyyoommiya polotik liinu qoxxishan yok bik shiqqeen yukkisama medakko okkom
ምናደብ ኢሶ ፖለቲካን ነንም ኢኮኖሚያን ነንም ማቴዮ ሄች አይሾ ገነም ይወጦረ ጠንቻን ጋግሶምን ሳውት ጫክሰቃ ሎሳኖ ማቲንስ ማት ሲዶ ሲኒስም በጦን ከተለበጂና አሼሲስም ጣንም ከዶለ ሲኖም ጦረ ጠንችን ሉጣኒያኮ maal makkaan gaara meentana okko yamasso
abbaash taaddas edaqatim heerul mat ollan sidamok ammanin sidamoon bikin hadi televezyiin sagarin naqaash afishanne lobbey amadoane kokom
yim kaba lawa kataman mulsu min nama lisinem tem inglis sinem machesim sawu dabasamim hogen tano man hofi obe bikin itgak sumin kaamane yotore tanja heerullanem toppe gabalannem yok abulan abul gabala yo taretan shilaen losan gabala yo taretan it sumin of gabala nem yok losan adi yulan nem herulan nem mabata molda la qotalis taretamen
matmat atorasinum lachayo wins abbach ofoch tagasi abbach paulos gabare madin wa muksawit sanem mat gichik sagar liokok tale waciminet ihon anananan duto medan sanuwan higo
ku television batasherim ilkok moim leesha du forarim sumdu do tsim batakok isakok mera fisaka gaglaitim tale yahane mion eskank wonchom sumi agani hadiyik hararimma qarmoni gimmen annan gogisatet moomok
amman yukkisomam kuramam minada ayyomam mul minada buwin la isan simminam uwo awad shiqqena yama kom
ኢትዮጵያን ሂጎስ
መሱም ሊኦኮክ ጣሌ ወጨን ይኳ መሱም ሊኦዮም መሱምን ወጪ ሂጋል ሰግ ሎሰናን ይመሶክ ሎሰናን ለሰግ ቤሮ በጠን ይመሶክ ኤለ ሰጎንም ሚዲያ ወን ulqapan yok midiawan herul midiawan yohaman sum hararis liois minada bim hararis liois isokoem hani kiaim mat minada pek ayomatu su mekam ayomatu mat minada heshkank maho heshkank edim tourism shog mat minada bin yokok tourism shog herul gabalan lisimine herul gabalan laisimin kemal awad uwok shogaim
Kaisim gada. Sindum bikin hashu ilele.
Hadi televizyin በጠሼሪም ሊረን ሱከስ ሆሳን ቤሮን ሄአሙ መትመት ምናደበጠንቾ ወጨማኮም ከኒን ሲለጌን ሙል ሰገርን ሬዲዮ ነም ይሁክ ቴሌቪዥንን ጉንደን ነቃሽ ሲድምን ሀዋማም ሄኮሰም ቀንጣማኩ እጦዮክ መትመት ሆሳን ቤሮን ሲንዳ አቶረስኑ ምናደብ ለምቤንስ አባች ኤርገን ገቡሬ አይሽ ባቾር አባይነሽ ወምክ ሰዊጥሰን ገቅሱምን ቴሌቪዥን በት አሼረንጅ አራቅሪረን ሱኩስ ጫክዘማ መንሱምን ወምሳዊት ወጭም ይሁክ መጨሲም ሀዊሶ አኖም ቀዳማ ከበደን ገቅሱምን አሼረንጅ አራቅሪረን ሱኩስ ኩረማኮም
ሀዲዬ ቴሌቪዥን ሀዲይሳ ማን ኢጥቃንቅችነ መጨሲም ለሜ ቀረንቻውም ሊረመቲ ሂጋኳን ሰሳ ሶራ ሊረመቲ እዶህኔይም ማሂና መጨሶ በመን ጣሊ ሀዲይሳ መጨሶ መን አማርሰም ይሄ ሙሌ አናን ቃንቃ መጨሶ በመን ሀዲይስ ጣሊ መጨሶ መን ኢትዮጵያ ወሮን አራቅ
ባለውን በልበሽል ወሾ ጨኩይ ከበላ ንሱብን ትያ በሽላ አቶረችም ኦጋጥ ምኔ ወን ሁንደንም kidinno nihania ko wosh macesim lobaka liran sok
ሙለ ከተወስኑ ምናደብ ለምቤንስ አባች ኤርገን ማርቆሴ አይሽ ጨንጨት መሰረቴ ኩገደ ሎበካ ሊራን ሶ ሃኖ ወጭምን ሳንተን ለምበለ ኦሮባ ሀርባ ንሱ ምን ሂጎ ጉዶ ሂጎ አወኔን ምን ጦሞ የማ እጡ ሰው ጫክሰማኮ
ኦሬም ሎበካ ኢዲኪና ሊረማም ማይነ ማት ሱም ኒ ካዲይስ ሱም ሊያ ጌጃ ከከፋ Luteka losa ni sumi akate yoko losa losuku ete yoko bero nem annanan minadab hundim it laoki sumin awatuku yo hunetim mishisuku yohan kabade modim television net yakia adi sum kais higimman ibikin lobakata mishisakwan liram sakwan
ni woro woshu kuline nami macensen honga macesisim ni yummo makota ni yonne makota lobakata mat ተጨነቁኩ ይሆሉ ማዳ ይኩስ ለኢሙሻ ለበካጫና ቀመ እኮ ኢሬዶ ጣባም ይቀከማ ይቆነ ያካሃደ ይቆንቃ ለበካቻገስዋን ከበዲስ አደናም
አዲይስ ሱም ቴሌቪዥን ካይሳ ሂጓኒ ኳሌንስ ሆረም ሚሽሷን ይብክን ቀበጥ ሮባኔ ሆፋኔ ሂጎኮ ለምበላ ይተከሞሽ ኑዊን ሰመጨንሳም ደናሚስ አወኔን ሰዊቱዋም እንዴን ኔሰን ሚናዳቢ lach hayuanin hundim sawit endumuy danamis harap mamumuy annananis gejo isin fuula danamis maro isin makirette kinu midadin nin kenate yom sawite okko ani bikin
amo ibad gulum saat hundam erishtisha danamis liramatin macesena so mo hundam manebe
Eesan waraadicha Eliwaanise abbaach molla garmaa kuba xasheero lobakat diiran soo hannu minse mullek illageen hadiyis reedo yuqoqo yakkam heeqok kaba televiziyonan hincaamu anch gaksagarii bagaan mulsagara xishaa aagixxanch xanoo beeminaadab maam unnanch beekam caakisin wacimmam ihukko biksawit maceesimmam ihukko biksawit wacimma xanamoo isin harap mookko yamaa wacamaakko
lobakat luwa maceesamokko gaas adiyisuumi reedonne maagooni erodo iqoani yakka oraka yakko tabagina di sumin television info kana imman arakliramo
lobakatamane kawannan losanon maceso misenne donsum misenne ke no mamane matmanch gat sagarini wocemi gat sagarini atorarini yandabasakanchi uwokuk lobakate harar lichwal yani matkurumtan nonkwal matmanch it trusubin gochimin tigiso sawiti mulle lamani satane la sage ashira kan lusu sagalluwin higiso sawiti anan matisan ko endom kanni lege losana yo sanne UNICEF higiso sawit ama ayesen mo no mamman batalay annichanich dutte sumtiru sagare na watem lobakat erom yo sa wosh gundan higitamen tano sa woro yo sawitun kan fissa chaakisen tano sawit malayen tano ko sumtiru sagare ko sa lobakat yoran wacham biken nes nisumi awatem man lobakat miswan nisumi awatina damo higinsom sawitam gundan minadawen higisen chaakisen makwani biken awatim lobakat rigamo
tarakman wacen tarukuy wacobe chawa koko hadisumin dut hadisum lakam ken mulsum lakam beken hadisumi wacen tantuy mulsumi wacakam bikin dud isa ya yo kokim na disum fokim man balundam ni diksa wit higitan shtannomwe
Hadii televizyiin sagaleen baxasheerim araqliiran sukos hadii zoonan ilmu waradan hi'amuu matmat minaadabbaxanchuu caaksamaakkum. Kan nunnim gaqsuumin naqaashuu gundan siidakkeen xanakkamis edamaakku. Haraar fintoo gaashawn dallalan hincaawakku.
Kanneen lageen hadiyyis televizyiin gabalafaa mo'anchi macceesanchi gataa reedoo iqookkoo yimmin araq dollu lasgataa heekkook kabakkaa'is televizyiina firaa gaqsuumin wacim xanim araq mishiswaanee yimmin sawwituu wamuk aayich kabbatturunashee aayich laambas taaddalache hadiizoonan leemma waradan haayise gadnan hee'amwaaneem ixxuum uwwamuk sawwiten ku televizyiin gaqsagarin baxasheerim hat ga'nuwan hee'oo minaadabbuwin mursagar xanim moogimmin gundan naqaashsiidoo beekennin araq bik firwaani ukkisam edamaa caakkisamaakkoom.
Hadii televizyiin higimmanni hadii qaranchi ko hundim lira mo gas kanni waachaman katanfira kama hadiyis wacakken baddok ወይም ማትማቲን ኢሃኮ ዳዳል ሁኔታንም ትምርት ሁኔታንም hingaan estamaallum ammane hadiyis eha na harara televizyiina ne yonkan kataman shayminen wacakken keemameuk washi ukarem kaba televizyiin mulli killisam mulli ቋንቋ isam hadiyi televizyiin firimmanne ማን ዳዳሪም ቋንቋይም ተማሪም ቋንቋይም ሙልማን ተግባባይም ቋንቋይም ሀራሮኮ ያመሰወም ያንን ወዲም አፊሱዋይን ሎም ቢሆን
ሎባካት ሎሳኖ አማሪን ላንቆም ቤቴን ሎባካት ሎሳኔ ወሪ ነው ልዎ ኒናሚን የወስናሚ ኒኡሊ ቆንቃ ወጪም ሎባካት ኒናራሞክ
ወራዲች ታምር ተከተለ ወራዲች ሱላይማን ሰለሞኔ ገዛኝ ቸርነቴ ጡኮልን ወሙክ ሰዊቴን ኩ ቴሌቪዥን ጋቅሱምን በጣሼሪም ሀዲ ሄሽቃን ደናሚስሳ ሙለጌጎ ሄኦ ምናደብን አፍስምነ ኢትጋቅ ቢክ ፍሬን ጠኖ ኢሰም ዲረመትን ጫክ ሰማኮ
ውቤ መጪሶ ማለት ከበዮ ማነ ያው ሰገሪ ያው ጋቅባና በየጊሶ ጋቅ ባይላም እዳ ጊሶ ቢክን ሎካት ሚሶ ኮ የቦሎ ሎካት ካድሉኒ ከከርስኩይ ሞይሶ ቢክን ሎካት ሚሶ ኮ ሰገሪ ጎማነ
ደናሞ nisumin nes wacem lobakat geej eddil hadisam laqqam minaadaben hundinam kannin daakko isin kuk danami geej gada nina gaasanno kak waita affamo loy nes danami dilon yomine kak mo'nam nesadim kannon malat nemihon edaakko luwa banteen hansomo edaakko luwa haresh luwa batem masoko yaate asigisomo
lobakat abullan lobakat gas hadisa amarin lame koy hadisa dabadukaanis lobakat liranti macceesamo koyo
ቄስ ወልደ ሰንበት ጌቱ አባች አዲን ተስፋዬ ሀዲ ቴሌቪዥን ገቅሱምን በጣሼሪም አናናናን ቁጡ ለእስምን ተናም ሳምዮስ ኩረማ እቱውናም መጨሰሙ ሊረመት ሙለጌጎን ሲደሞ ማንን አባይ ሊረምተኮ ይምን ጫክሰማኮም
ku program higim ደናሞ ከኦልማንን ኦድ lobakat ትምርት ወኮ ከአካባቢ ዮ ጉዳይ ሁንደም ተማስሚን ኦድ ቴሌቪዥን ፕሮግራም ደናሞ ይኮልናን ደናሞ ያተጣው
አራቅ ሊራሞም አራቅ ሊራሞም
አመንን ጉዱ ጣምቦ መቀር ዮሐንስ ሉጂነቴውም ጡምኬ
liranchoko, hai liranchoko, sigedan namani shone bade enne.
Mishracha hibbam hadiyya.
Mishracha hibbam hadiyya.
Mansagarinne tumtum mimminse.
Mahamlanqo lamimminse.
Muccurga qsuminne malalisinne.
Gas annu ika kavallamnika.
Yimmiresh qanqa gaafasimminne.
Gassik ogora seramsinne.
Gaqulika herul naqasha.
Gulla kurena muccurisinne.
Goch foqa ukko hadi television. Goch foqa ukko hadi television. Hesh qanqa bikken hararisinne.
Hanqom qaxoma annanissa.
Habam mesh qanqa gindon bison.
Gudollika haaresh dollika
hanqegera hundam kureen
habam television hashu foqukko habam television hashu foqukko
ullik aganna usha malala
umo amatta mishisalloba
qam kitabo odim gudo
agaggisinne guulla kureen
abben naqasha xalilisinne
xoxol mixelluwinne xuma beedda
xaxa foqukko hadi television xaxa foqukko hadi television
hayli ranchoko
Maragui hundinsem annan marageyim hadiyin kamarak lam kuma tomo matafik dolle malal siswane liran soane hashu eleli hadit ambuwo television asheren achich wara shashik lami ashera ufa oroba yim tomi lam saati
Shambala yonne, Arbo Chosem Shambala yonne, Arbo Yem Shambala yonne, Akabe Gitor Shambala yonne, Anifikanem Shambala yonne, Ana de yich worku shawil liransh kada hundleisha kunawarum ditamini danabira shimalelena sime kuno mata tabeki debe ashu ulanda ndani nadile himin bolank baline linje halat mishi silin hamame Haridana bitumba jame ulanda ndani nadile himin bolank baline linje halat mishi silin hamame Haridana bitumba jame ashu Animlelo mo lelishomo Haridana me kajibiromo Animlelo mo lelishomo Haridana me kajibiromo Sawitarare lelishomo Sharbe mujura kajibiromo Gadama same lelishomo Gasintirame kajibiromo Animlelo mo lelishomo Haridana me kajibiromo Animlelo mo lelishomo Haridana me kajibiromo Biromo kajibiromo Biromo kajibiromo Golana atura kajibiromo Goto dubancheme kajibiromo Ilin hamame kajibiromo Itutu bebe kajibiromo Biromo kajibiromo Biromo kajibiromo Iya daname itin karare ibe yokeyware inine matihe shimomo kinine lelo mohamame shimishim kajinde shiromo magre tayo hadiche shimarashe harechiche shidananche shidarabe aliche shiyayiche shibitiche tayo shigudanche shiwochiche shidubanche shimiteche shigatina shikarare shiyechina shinutube tayo ulanda ndani nadile himin bolank baline linje halat mishi silin hamame haridana bitumba jame ashu anim lellomo lellishomo hadidaname kachibiromo anim lellomo lellishomo hadidaname kachibiromo sawitarare lellishomo sharbe mujura kachibiromo gadamasame lellishomo gasintirame kachibiromo anim lellomo lellishomo hadidaname kachibiromo anim lellomo lellishomo hadidaname kachibiromo Viromo, viromo, kachibiromo, viromo, kachibiromo, golana atura, kachibiromo, goto dubancheme, kachibiromo, ilin hamame, kachibiromo, itutubeme, kachibiromo, viromo, kachibiromo, viromo, kachibiromo, ya daname, itin karare, ibe yo kaiware, inine matie. Shimomo kinine lelo mohamame shim kajine shiromo magre tayo tayo hadiche shimarashe arechiche idanache idarabe aliche yayiche fidiche tayo gudanche shiwochiche dubanche miteche gatina ikarare yechina nutube tayo
Herol qocamukuy uma wanje dimine manangin batam kenno teknoloji mishuweda lobaka doliga kaballafa kom turistu shok bayum qocanchen nemi kumanangin batam ken goron namadam anananan duwa wunda de sanek shinek aswanem esam dodlam turistu shok bayu ihminem lamo kom nulanem lobakat lamo umo nemi manangin batam dadesh bayum yo kom kaken warin sim abbay foyi kadalitihi balehi samen ulqa parkim aksumi lalibali mulkenim lamok turistu shok bayuwam woron gas qoton nem hadizonan tegin lamok ki mo imin mishsoyi mo akamarem liran sok umo qochum yohanem haydan takko ni godo awonan kabal gudon hadiyan umo nem turistu shok bayu hosan bero kich bay isnam sorem qarannem kamera ilkansam kinwen dade sansinen itinam awon him hadizon sastibbe sorelo kuma honsibbe ontaye sadent tako on hektar hararo minnem tomosa suwaraduwa sorbero gasuwa matissa amada kwanem matako sadent milionin sanani hok minada biwani ksam abisamman naqashu moiso kom zon won bero yuk hosan kabal yok minada ditomim ammanis ammanen gagabalis ediminne hararo mim lokin tak akka tochi toch afakkan besam ihakom lishdo omim etlok gabalanem afukku yosam moiswanem hayden takko awanan wasan bikin kakat amon sumlas nigudo ihok turistu shok bayu dade sinsen dolena mum hanan karan elinchag kolon gombol ora data kenam habich bero ampumum yani sim sor kilometer lasagenem umo yuk habich fom sindomum habich fo weshan sum sidukok it dademin mashka yuk habich dajin setem dajomin bille hagayya fe tawon dadwan himminne mishso qoch amadukisam lob gibe dajan etokom habich fo sad metrin sanani akko qofitens hanana dillo harem macce samo sagachi hege kisimati cege marwi ndiyatin sawun muy mo no marem maladhino misam iswanem haydan takko awanan habich fobeyon sidan takam mo imminni birshi takko ta'ni caw takko ta'ni dana moyinu muy koyinan semminem mulanon ingomum agame hojje hosanis ki akka bushanin higakka lamiyye on kilometer qeeloman sidama kom zon woron yok umo fo wins lobano min lamo kenno yimim tansiso kom lamem qaf owim matkormo im tansiso isinem hananad dilletam kennom agam gombol dajjen dillo hanne qocamok fo ikuy hararo minnem lobano minnem qantamo kennins mati minne qera lo minnem hananad dillo isi liran swane shenem qaswanem hojjodim hararom be aniha matibinsi on time metrins hanane akko qera loman mishso qocamada mo mannen malalatom qocukuy hananad dillo fo agame hojje lam annananan dajuwins midadin abbis qeloman yama dilliminne qaffo wiyam kisim kuramokom lamem dajuwim fo dillim lasagenne matiyama gibe dajennem etamokom fo win sof katam higakala sagenne hawor hufo sidamo aniha tisumanin fayom siden awatokom kido tourist we show umo beyuwin haso egech sakam dade saninam makkisa kotan zonin danam sito sidisen tanokom
Shambalala yonne Nirvana watchem shambalala yonne Nunga shamanim shambalala yonne Garam solechem shambalala yonne Lure hadiyem shambalala yonne Igas wayabim shambalala yonne Sabich hadiyem shambalala yonne Sumam hadiyem shambalala yonne
haydan takko negudo awonan awono dadesh hosanin sadentayne 7 kilometer qeloman sidamo elen shud badawachon sheneberon hinga tomo 11 kilometer taken misam elen shfir afrik surut cebworon sidamo sas ananan qochiyo umo dambaluwam budamadi tilloy machafan malaliso qochi elen meshso afuch yohania afuram kusum dade sanina dade simminam makkok umo amat yohanem sasem dambalu kimsum hadiyisi kuy tiratim woro tillaloma dangon qocham kamashkam qocha kichisiminem sum wam ksam hege qloman kuramokom budemad gabat labo qocha hemach hagaram tillaloma matissa amada kwanem kudambal qeral hinchuwins illagi uliramat bubuk mashkanem qocham ksam matmat sarayu moisokom weshan sumom sidam kok hegegonne ok mannik matmanchik mirgo kadambalan shura agimenne tutam kuy marukare wachani mirgo fisamen isamuk yakitenne tochon ulamo oman budamade yiminne laram klacha kich isminnetem budamada yo sumom sidukisam kuramokom kadambal woronem taraim hamashi mullabo soku heota nimi soki talat yok bikin ci mul bararok amari ushe tamen do lamoyom hegekman higa dinatanon goda poron yok jorlu biso ko yiminem kawek agsamokom dambal woronem etok muldaj be anem yona bagan hinchon taw nim gogo nim selela mishso danamadatim yohanem hararomim sore hektar ihen tano isam kuramokom haydan takko awanan kabaodim kannins gadanon sidamok tilo dambalam daden somom afurukisem budama dambalin labamukkarem hararo mannem koklopokom itim lamaray hektar ulomam ifisa kwanem dambalim wom kulletan hufo hofqat buu mashkenne ibim halat yoan iham hagarim dabasamwan yuksam hegekman kuramokom amman mashka isminne annan be yuwins warim minne nase collins fit agana febe umam ushetat be isama afuramokom dambal kulleto mannem yo kufuk buu hegekmanin annan jabbuwins fayye min awatamokom wo mannem samun halat yok bikin edech anshimin awatamwaniha os odim orachom horore anshaqamokom hororem kashasuanem kadambal bay afebe mattaka yo omoko chalatomam dade siminem cababalihe yinomom awwana xilloyins sor kilometer takenam lasagen hibami akok macafar dambal sindomum kudambalem tib hektarin sanan ihakom hararo minne wo inne kibama kwani ham shanodom edda mishisok dan amadam mu amokom dambal qochim ganda isam kumbubam xilali ukuy xillo dambal isam amman egramam mulbeyi waramok ananan ammar kadambalan zibbama qelimo ok manin mishisok dak ok labokom kawundi bey afebem matakadade sakonam koyinan sinomom macafar dambalin yok umo amat egeremina turistu budam wo hanen cababo amarina makko isimenne afashduem dabasamo heo isin kayge atimi egechisimi hasuanem kulule sanem yok lob haqqu woronem he amom mochi amari bi amo be somam aboyimi anananan egechisimi hasokom kusasem dambalu afuram kisi no mare sor kilometer qeloman sidamokom anananem kadambaluwin yok qochins sidantan beyisan afuch bey qelo misan egech isakam dade sanin atsakotan danamum kabeyuwinam cababa waham ushetat lojuwa hoteluwa batimine awad uwo isakotan tourism industries sidamok sito hegeginam huk ulichin uwok awadin simiga lobaka tarde winam bat foqa okom kabe sunum dadeshan hosanin skina habicho agame hojje fowam buda madat illo macafar dambalu dade sansinum gudo kannon gulinomom mul umama tla sansinen amanda hinchinembe tumikkehem
shawa shawilo shalagu koyi shulga wagoko shima koyi shima magoko sharagu koyi shika sagoko shawilo shakai murena sholam farasho shumich marena shima manno shawilo shigo arati shagno maya haili ranchoko
Hadi television
Igudo lik agana
Hareti ukatwana
Hadi gaser hushon
Yesh kango gorgindon
Higato pein seru lefebe
Harar gudo haresh tambuwa
Asis nakashun damtunsa
Hankom katom hore tassa
Inka kutom hoye gara
Hadi sumin hinja kuy hanim waruko Hadi television
Hadi yul buchane Haili ranchoko
Hadi television
Rol technology dutawata
Galban lagana dol lafubeyo
Danam gatsu min dade sisen daram fokuko Hadi television
Jimiresh kanka gaksum fulisha
Goda meta gas politika
Gakayo meno garakko ulla
Gatu herin gula kuren Goj foka uko Hadi television
Haili ranchoko
Hadi television
Mina dablichin mate yiha
Mulleru lins makko eba
Mangas fongog miko horen
Matank sawit mekedisen
Mate rom waruko Hadi television
Yamato Hadi yul buchane
Hadia Tahdi denam Hadia Hanu desyan toy Wachai gore Hadia Hosana Wachamo Hadia denam Jatalew Yachin melke melkam Tafajan kebekan Tutnawa gurum Sedlemena tswa Hosana yadegech እንግዳ አዳሌ ጎሬነች መርጫታለሁ ያችን መልከ መልካም ጣፋጭ አንደበቷን ትትና ዋግሩም ስለሜናት እሷ ሆሳና ያደገች ተቀባይ እንግዳ አዳሌ ጎሬነች ጎሬ ያያሌ ባራሲኔ ያያሌ ቤቲኔ ያያሌ አዴሊኔ ያያሌ ጎሲኔ ያያሌ በናሜ ያያሌ ቤጊኔ ያያሌ ሬሽኔ ያያሌ በናሜ ያያሌ ሮጃማ ያያሌ ሶሪላ ያያሌ ኮቲጋ ያያሌ ዳዩባ ያያሌ ኩፊታ ያያሌ ሾከራ ያያሌ ናመካሞ ያያሌ ናመክት ያያሌ ጎሬ ያያሌ ጎሬ ያያሌ አጋባት ከካና መርጫታለሁ እሷን ያየ ሁሉ መችመለስና መርጫታለሁ እኔም በባህሌ ኪሱማ የበዳት መርጫታለሁ ጎሬት ያለችኝ በጥሩ ማንደበት መርጫታለሁ ዮ ሂዋ ዮ ሂዋ ዮ ሂዋ
Sabulo wabeburamo wasata kasbonge
ድራማ እኮ ኩለላ ከማ ወጭትን ሄራው ፍራውሃን
ወጭት ተግሮም ደናም ሲያኮስን ኤሬሪን በተማኮነ ዮ
አዲንጀስ ቃንቀን አናናናን ወጭ ተጋሉ ይውሳ ሙአሞኮት
ኤሬራ አየ እዳካከ ያካ ኦማችን ጎበቆ ኤሬራ
ባታዮ ቁርሳዮ ሚሳዮም ኢራታዮ ሱሞሃን
ni'uulan sadeentajyi hanaani haakoo giirgichuu mateeyyan he'amohan kahundinam odim ittuu gaqqani haakoo annannan heeshqaanquu yoohani haa biyyi sinnem annanni hoo heeshqaanqaayim odim matminaa daphek ayyooman edde'ooyis sarooyis itoo isaa hee'oo isaa mulkeenomii caakkisoohan bakka heeshqaanquu wariins matoom odim hurbaat gudis akkamis hadiiminaa dabinam ittuu gaqqani haakoo mishisoo lobakat heeshqaanquu yoohan kakeen wariins odim heeshqaanqaa hurbaattuu annanni sin moo'im xansiisoo hingidoo xummee laqqaa nibdoo awwanaan kabal kidnuu kollon afiinseen iittinummoo lobakat heeshqaanqaa hurbaattuu wariins mati wacit bikkinat gudola saancha feebeem niinni meqarikke
Sabulo wabeburamo wasata kasbonge rikasa watan koche wonge alakala walla domar wonsho aidara atisu ammo wae garona
itaayim lombaami haakoo heeshqaanqaam hurbaat ihaa buurwee gudeen xanoobee summaam hurbaat hagara wacit mu'ut baxamookkoki dolbuchinnet ihaa han odimi omachinne ereerinne wureeggaakkoan ihubikkin ereer wacitaayoo summam siixxaa suumifichom migirin axisakkaa gobimmin ifiisakkam
baatayo ቁርሳዮ ሚሳዮም ኢራታዮ ሱሞሃን ሱሞይ ኦኮክ ማሂናስ ያኮታን ወይ ለንደኒ ሰኮበይ ለንዲና ጨማኮበይ ሄውለት ኤናችን ገርሳም ወጭት አፉሩ ቡሪ ዲሳቋኒ ዲሳቀት ነስራቲቾ ዲሳቋኒ ካማከነ ይደ ጋኒ ይሞክ ዲሳቃም ወላና ጫኮበይን ለና ጫከማነየ kizareedo nani akkamanayya beyir gudisakam odin mahasakkam beyir gudisakam odin maasin gudisakam beyinne na o maasin gudisakam
ወጭት itqagome kibira disakam kim kibiranne afuro beyom ወጭቶም afusakkam beyin kibira ohan ወጮማን ሶረ kibira ohan ወጮማንስ kibira ohan ወጭትን ሱሞሃን አፉሮ ማራጎሃን uwakam maaragohan ወጭተም ቀጥሳከማ uwakama maaragomanin kibiromanina uwakama afakos uwakay takam ben muutomin batamo maaragine batamo batakamo kabanni hadiyyoron kurakkate baxakam geet isa qasummohan undum afuroo bay wajda fuusa kan bay summohan eddechi afuroo ummohan bikkina wajit maaragaa kibiya ereerin lugumon gaasaka gibbish bu'anaa gaallish liisiisaa ka biro cit baximmen qore ommocha dilluga yool gaalli ay gaali bu'aninne gibbish liisiisne gaallish bu'aninne goba kamli wacita akkam goboo maxxara goolaboo angaa akkam ochoo gambichoo ere locitaa goolaboo angaa goboo maxxara akkam na nuquxim yohaneyya aro uquxaa adgoshiisaanchoo areesoo angaa akkam ibirakkan meentome dakkaman wereegi hore lobakat bayyo kaffa akko ifurakkaman waciti illage yesakkoy
woro yoko kon buchi batamakwan
bucha bush batakake akka gibbish liisiisin gibbicho mash liisiisisakka gaallish bu'an mooncakka gaali bu'aninne gibliisiisinne gobakkam wacita akkam goboo maxxara goolaboo angaa akkam
kaaxisakka gudisakko mu'uta waato innakkiisakka shiinshakka axisimmin xale buuroo buurinne mul'annan huru tagalluwinne guduluwa woron isakkamar kamuut woron aagubikkin wucita akkam sumsiixukkisa kuramook
wucit buurii dholo bulli dholo hansabeedee dholo amadakka dissakkeen sarakka dissakkeen cambakko buuram dissakkeen awwaat akkaman wucit luli'ooma eekna bookko
ku waci gudookko kim lam googinnet luxxeek xaliil buur xale ihkuuy mulleek odim annan li'aal hurubaat hagalluwinne buurinne gudisakkam keenu luux waci hagar moodnumtan xaliil buur waci taay akkam ixxomi ereerin axisakka kamu'utan issakka hinca akkaman lammoci hagar odim lobakatisin gudoohan buurinne gootto so bullinne eebeelas gootto mishidqaminne gudisakkam waci hagar hansaabee laay akkam ka hansaabee wacit odim maajiyooman xaliil buurin gudisoohan ihook mul wacit hagar odim cuukko ku wacit hagar gudookkok soqaminne bukkamaa axisamu buurinne xale gudisakkaman ihaa xee'oo isina tumamu wakkaashikaa sooqidoo hoffo kam edakka gudisakkaman ihukkisam kuramook
wacit hadii beeresaban gaassakka wocitan gaassaka wocita gudisakkamaanon awwado bullo awwado qince gudisakkam gardaan bullo so adillu wana okaagaa mannanem adilo so annem adilohan so adil gardaamma goonma giba gardaamma awwado bullo awwado qince gudisakkam lame wocitan
la'me kodim buur bukkakka isakkam wocisa okkoyim okkodim buur danaamis qadaal enjin wayim ajaar enjaa yakkamaanen danaamis cambakkaa ma isakkamoo bukkakam buhdistan nemik kaba kadolisan biradistan kabanes sinomo biradistan danamis liwaman qaxaraka isakam wocit bukkam bur isakam wocitaen satte kodib luko buroim esan danamis cambaka disakko atburo enjin danamis cambaka disakko atburo isakkamok luko buudhu wocita yakka mat wocit bulli sarakamaneem bulli sarakam wocit bullo cita yakkamok bullo sarakala sag gokkisakka sarakala sag buudanamis isakkam bulgaasakka gokkisakka qureen wayim harachon danamis xishaka gokkisakka sarakka buurin danamis qacisakka hagaroom ananna bagaan buudhisame miixime bullo cita yakkam
wajib sobullo wobe buramo wasata kas wongil likasani watan koche wongil anakala walla domar wonsho aidara adisu ammo wae garona
ma xale kan ihaa xee'aa hoogoobe ana qad wacitim yoohan ku wacit hagarim lamisin gudoohan ihaa inqadhana qalaa ango ana qalaa yamamoo keen mulle kodim annannisin gudoo wacit hagalluwam moo'im xansiisoo koche wacita buwacitaa salal wacitaa yamamoo anja guru caa'isoo wacit hagalluwim yoo isaa ixxuwam hinkid gudisakkam da'e amoo kid yimmin caakish owwamoo
ana qala wongaaram tumakkam awwados dambi qufsaqqa ibballe qufsaqqa tumakkam odim harxaxakkam xire ana qalaa wocita isa qoy ana qalaa akkam bu'la ana qalaa wocixxa ana qalaa akkam ango ana qalaa akkam ango on summedakkamok harxaxakka ufeesakka ca'aka raka qincakichoon gatokok boori cokkakka akaba xaliil booren wocita isa akkam ya ango ana qalaa so ana qalaa inqal ana qalaa ango ana qalaa akkam ango in ballu boom wakkam diri wak ango akkam ana lita kaarra ko bekkena lam ana qalaa qata ango ana qalaa so ana qalaa akkam lamen wongara mew harxaxakkam awwado mew harxaxakkam tuttuga qadanaams kam murugu ko qodim harxaxakkam illas qadiro moora ka ufeesakkam ca'aka boori appisakka wocita isakkam ango ana qalaa akkam mirxa ana qaleette koche dutayna to koche mal koche od maraye isakkam okur gogal mar gokkisakka aki akatumakka sarakam huti ama edia cawo gagon bulla kollaye sarakam do te ibaden te ugaten sarakam e kabat mar sarakka koche wocita isakkam itto salalom koche salalo mara edakkamok liqont litakka mishil ka litakka isakka salal cokka kabatas gogu salalin edakka cokka koche boorenne tollun boorenne mo isakkam
wocita ay ammanemi ayyenami ca'waka uwakkan be'an wocita uwakkamok matmanch mahallan lomb sidohar bollochon iranin aburshetuwin maasin larxibbuman xibbe wagano hare mul'annan gudowina wocit gudisakka hinca akkam
bullocitaakka yok bullocitaakka annan isakate yoko odime bullocitaakka wamoko minissaqamuke osin wociti maqirem am ganta kelaga wotta utamane yoko bullocita lamome minisso beetin wotta utamo
bo baqo beetin ayuma so wociti maroko itlaga tuba moko habate bollocha mattaqamo lako en hadimine ko illak hibbo ko wociti uture me oy wududura landin wududura mo aneya ani sef ana yanna kuy
maharanchi dinka ana kan
maroko illage maroko ango ana qalin qadana qalin wociti kibbo an way maharanchi do kas gere bayon kibbo ko itoma itillagen isema futtaman menticham giste akkam itema fora itillagen mo isakate dia mo isakoy ite skuy isemeti tuy odi ota gisakka lomo itmen inna maharuk ebar yo an umma waro hibza gwesha kulla gwesha mera
ايد ان دنام لو قد مروان ايد ان لندن سقوي وكمان لارتي بسوها ان مسك كمان هيك ايام مسوق كما هيريو مسوق اديو مسوق ايو مسوق اسكا ايد ان سين او قدم ما هنا وادوك وكوا ايبيون اسكم حجين لو منني جا كمان هو انتنو ما سيولو مننا كويني جا كمان هوسا غروا اواتكن دي سكمان مي انتنو አንሽሙ ፒዮሎ ፖዲ ሜዲም ሉብሱሃን ይብክን ምንን ሉበጮ ኤድ ነሲን አዋጣከው ግን ኤሬሎጅ ተማረው ማትበዮ ማሴ እኮ መራኩጅ ማስና ማመደከ መራከው ለንድ ማሴ እንተኖ ሞሉን ለንድ ዌሻ ማሰምን ነሶን እንተኖ ኤድ እንበዩን ማን ኤማስና ካሹ ኩራንጋ ማሮጅ ወጭት ኤሄድ ወጋሞ
ወጭት ሰቡሎ ወቤቡራሞ ዋሰተካስ ወንጌል ሊቃሳን ዋታን ኮቼ ወንጌል አናቀላ ወለዶ ማር ወንሾ አይዳራ አዲሱ አሞ ዋኤ ገሮና
ጉዶ አወናን ከጉዶ ኢንስ ሎሳን ሲደኮሳ ጸባቢ ታኮሳ ነየት ኢሲኑሙይ ኪዶኔ አዮ ማጫ ኪሶሂ ሚሽሶሂ ቃንቁ ገቲም ሀሽሶ በያኖማ ቆሲሚን ሀማራሞን ኦጎራምሲን አወኖ ቀሪሞን ሂጎ ኢሲን አሞ